Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our review of Power Book 2 Ghost Season 2, Episode 7. We are starting to inch ever closer to the end of this Season 2, the trial of Tariq St. Patrick, which I'm sure is going to be all sorts of messy because this episode was all sorts of messy. This episode showed that nobody is messier than Davis McLean. And I have so many thoughts about Davis in this episode because this man is all over the place.
Oh, Carrie is very messy as well. I mean, this whole
Yeah.
episode was sort of about all the messes that everybody's making, and no one's able to really clean anything up. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. This
Yeah.
episode was not my favorite. It kind of felt like nothing was really moving the stories forward. It was sort of a bunch of little things that were kind of, I'm hoping they're building up to something else, but it was just like, it felt like the episode of loose ends that all needed to get tied up. And so they tied up a few little things here and there. And now I'm just kind of like, okay, waiting for next week now, because I feel like these last few episodes are going to really ramp up.
Oh, I absolutely think so. And I think it's just frustrating because we know that they're going to ramp up and we want that to happen sooner rather than later. And really, there's a few interesting moments. I'll admit there's a couple of times that I laughed audibly, and I don't know if that was supposed to be funny, the moments that I laughed, but we will talk through all of that. But of course, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our remaining Book 2 coverage. Also, Power Book 4 Force is going to be here in just a matter of weeks. I cannot wait.
No, I cannot wait. I am really excited for that. It's going to be good. Their promotional campaign has been like a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I really like calling and hearing Tommy Egan's voice. I'm just going to say that right now.
Okay, so where are we really going to start with this?
Okay, I will just start with my favorite moment of the entire episode, which is
that Davis getting a drink poured on him?
that was up there. It does involve Davis. It is the Kane going to hold Davis at gunpoint and do all this threatening, and then Davis is just like, if I get Tariq off, I get you off, and then at the end of it, I'm just we'll see you later, Kane. Kane's just walking away. Kane is such a mess.
Oh my goodness, my guy Kane,
Come get your guy. Your guy needs to be gotten.
No, he really does. I can't defend that. That was a really, I mean, he's in a bit of a desperate situation. He knows that it's either him or Tariq that's going to end up going down for this. I think he's realized he made a mistake putting that badge in Tariq's room. Nothing good is going to come from that. It really is going to just end up getting all linked back. I think he just doesn't know what to do. He just really doesn't know what to do. And he's not getting the guidance from Monet that he really should be. I mean, she knows everything that's going on. Like, why isn't she in there really fixing this situation? She's almost taking this sort of, let's just get ourselves out of it as much as we can. But Monet, you guys are right in it. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, you're so far in it, you can't just decide to get out of it now. Things need to make sense. It's like having a vampire store that's only open during the day. Like, you can't do that.
I would go there during the day, but no,
That's because there'd be no vampires.
Exactly.
There.
No,
it has to make sense. And I understand. This is the thing, is it feels like everybody's sort of stuck in between two places, because you've got Monet who, she wants out of the business, but at the same time, she doesn't want to be squeezed out by Lorenzo. She wanted to really figure it out, how to get out on her own and sort of deal with everything. But she can't get out because Kane's been so deep with all of this.
I think the big problem here with Kane and Monet both is Monet is clearly really distracted by all of the different things that are going on, and I don't think Monet is really able to focus. And I think that before Tariq really showed up on the scene, it seemed like the Tejada family at least had it together a little bit more. So I don't think they had gone into crisis mode such like they have until Tariq has shown up. And Kane, I don't think he has felt like this much suspicion around him. And Kane, I love Kane, but Kane is the sort of guy where if something starts to really go wrong, the dude just panics. And when he panics, he makes bad, irrational decisions, including threatening the lawyer at gunpoint. And he doesn't know how to get himself
Kane.
out of this position other than just making it work. And at this point, he's basically, giving the broom and the dustbin over to Tariq and just hoping that Tariq can clean up his mess.
Yeah, Kane's in a bad spot. I mean, luckily for Kane, Davis is the main lawyer that's on this, and Davis wants to make money. He's not necessarily here to, take down Kane or, let Tariq, go to jail for this. He really wants to find a way to make money, and I believe what he told Kane is true. And I think he sees sort of Monet and that family as a potential source for more money down the road. I mean, they've already given him so much money. Like, why would he want anything further to sort of happen to them where they can't pay him money?
Davis is such a jerk. And yet at the same time, Davis is such a compelling jerk because
he is.
there are so many other characters that I think they have very unclear motives sometimes, and they kind of operate within a certain level of gray area.
Mm-hmm.
Davis McLean is basically, give me money, give me more money. I don't care how I get the money. Like those are the three operating principles, and he doesn't care if he just completely eviscerates Carrie, if he acts like a total heel, if he gets a drink poured on him. None of this matters to this man.
The other person who seems to have their motives that are very clearly one-track mind is Diana. My girl,
no.
Diana.
Oh no.
Who I've been a big defender of Diana. I really like this character, and I think this character has a lot of potential, and I really like the actress playing her. But they just keep bringing her back to the same thing over and over again, which is that she's just thirsty for Tariq. She ends up hooking up with Tariq. Like, there was a whole sort of storyline that was starting up with her and Effie where she was kind of like, yeah, I want to learn a little more about this. I want to know how to balance things better. I want to go to school. I want to do things my way. And I was like, okay, we are moving in a really good direction with her. She's going to have her own stuff to do that isn't just thirsting after Tariq. And then she finally gets a chance to go to school. Yeah, it's not at Tariq's school, but I thought she really wanted to go to school. And then it's all like, no, I actually just wanted to come here so I could be with you. I'm like, oh, why are they doing this and writing this to this character like this? That is her only motivation. Like, Diana is better than this. I believe it.
I believe it too. I am disappointed that they went down this road. And really, it comes back to the same thing we've said time and time again in these videos, that I don't think Tariq needs to be in a love triangle or a love whatever shape this is at this point, if you want to throw Effie in there.
3 women! Like, it's enough. I understand that he's a young guy and, he would probably have a couple love interests. But, the show doesn't need so much of that. Tariq has so many good storylines going on.
He's mysterious. If you're mysterious, apparently all the women want you. That is apparently what Power Book 2 is telling us, because I have tried for the past, I don't know, however many hours since I first watched this episode, I've been like, how are all these people thirsting over Tariq all this much? Like, he's, about to be on trial for 2 different murders. He's got all this complicated darkness, and this is the only thing I can come back to.
Yeah, he is mysterious, and he is a guy that you can get to know a little, but not a lot, and, that can be attractive to people. I just think that I think they're wasting the Diana character just having her do this. I would have really, after seeing her get her dad out of jail and all this, I was just like, okay, this is going in a new cool direction. I see her kind of maybe moving up a little more. And then when he was like, oh no, you want to go to school? You can go to school. Okay, cool. Yeah. I kind of thought that they would balance it. So she still wants to be with Tariq. Okay. But she could also go to school. Like, when she was sort of talking, it was like, oh, I'm going to school, but I'm going over here. I thought she was going to kind of be like, okay, you're not really working that much really with my mom anymore. Yeah. I'm going to school over here. So, we can be together and things, can play out the way that I want them to, sort of thing. I can have it all. But it was just like, no. I wanted to go to this school so I could be with you. I'm like, oh no.
I will
Diana,
say this.
no.
My guy Drew, I'm calling you my guy now, Drew, because I really like the Drew storyline right now. He is my favorite member of the Tejada children because I think it's getting really complicated for him with Everett, with trying to figure out how he can sort of keep things on the straight and narrow and also not get like completely thrown off by a love interest, by
Yeah.
something else in his life.
I really like the Drew character, but I think that they've like turned him, into sort of this 180 really fast. I mean, the first season, even the first part of this season, they had him really pushing back at the idea that he just didn't really want to be in the business. He
Yep.
really wanted to do his own thing. He had his own ideas. And, since getting shot, he still wants to do his own thing and have his own ideas
Yeah.
and sort of see who he's gonna be. And since Lorenzo has been out of jail like one episode, he's all of a sudden this right hand man. He's going out for, doing these different things that his dad wants him to do. And it's just like turned ramped up so fast that I feel like he's quickly forgetting who he is and it's too fast. I feel like it kind of needed to be over a couple more episodes.
Maybe it would have probably benefited from a little more time. I mean, maybe.
He went from wanting to do his own thing to getting ready to kill the man he loves in one episode. One episode. It's too fast. This character is one of the best characters on the show because they have spent a really good amount of time building him up and building him up to be this guy who's really conflicted about wanting to not be in the business, do his own thing, but pressures from home and like this.
That's why ultimately I mean, he probably shouldn't have been thinking about even killing Everett at this point, but
Too fast.
I'm glad that he did decide not to do it. Like the moment he got the
Oh,
text.
that text
Yeah,
message.
like I think that really sort of woke back up that part of him that didn't go on that radical turn. But there are these different forces pulling at him, and apparently
Yeah.
Lorenzo may be the most influential man on the planet if he's able to get Drew to be thinking this differently, this quickly. I mean, I still think he's gonna die within like the next couple of episodes, but no doubt he is really, really balls to the wall, like really going hard to try to get every single thing that he wants right away.
Okay, so we also have to talk about the mecca of it all. He decides that he's gonna go to Zeke and just be like, "Hey, I'm your dad."
Yeah.
Just no build up to it, no sort of like, "Hey, this is who
Yeah.
I am." Not straight up, "Hi, I'm your dad. Hi, I'm this person. This is how I would know you," or in another sort of way that he could go about this. Just showing up on the basketball court and being like, "Hey, I'm your dad. Look at this tattoo. This means I'm your dad." Like, it was a bit weird. He could have come up with a much better, I don't know, introduction than this. I wasn't surprised that he was kind of like, "Get away from me."
Yeah, I don't know why Becca thought that this was going to go well. Maybe he just figured nothing would go well and he might as well do this. I don't know if he was just impatient and wanted to just get something out of the way. But if that's the case, it would have been cool to get a scene of that, of seeing this sort of super hard, tough mecha character be a little bit vulnerable, because he did even express this in this episode that he wants to be this father figure, and he missed out on a lot of it because he didn't realize that he had a son out there. And we got a better sense of sort of his own timeline and how he ended up being in the military and how these choices he made are ones he made without that knowledge. And I do sort of sympathize with him for that very reason, though, like you said, he probably could have come up with a better plan, just like
Yeah.
Monet
Or
could.
some kind of proof, like come with something like a paternity test where maybe he can't necessarily get something from Zeke to do that, or maybe he can. I mean, he's a criminal mastermind. Come with actual proof that this is what he says is true. And also, Mecca, if you're gonna go there and be like, "I'm your dad," just tell the whole truth. I was kind of surprised he didn't. I know he really loves Monet and doesn't want to hurt her, but by saying, "I'm your dad," he's already, it's done. Just go all the way.
Let's just get into the mess here, because there's so much mess here. There is the half measure that we saw with Mecca, and then there is Monet not even doing a half measure. Monet just doing a straight made up measure of being like, by the way, your father's actually in prison and he's been there he's going to be there for the rest of his life. There's that. It's Monet. Maybe you were scrambling. Maybe you didn't know what to say I don't know. But if you are Zeke at that point, you got to think he's going to be like, okay, I'm going to go look my father up.
Yeah.
I'm going to go and I'm going to go talk to him in prison. I'm going to try to make some sort of connection here. It's just like it doesn't, he would still be Zeke's father. And Zeke, is going to want to get to know his father regardless of who he is or what he did.
100%. If she was telling that lie, by the way, he's actually in prison, he's going to be there till he dies, Zeke's going to want to know. He is going to try to find out where he is, and go and talk to him. This is a Band-Aid on like a huge open gushing wound. There is no way.
I am going to be so entertained the scene where everything comes out, because it's going to come out. It's going to be a total disaster. Everyone is going to be really, really upset about it. And then hopefully at some point they're also going to have a conversation about how Zeke is the oldest NBA draft prospect of all time, which we've already sort of played that out in past videos and it still kind of drives me crazy. But it's a messy story, but I will admit I still enjoy it. Like, that's my whole feeling about a lot of this episode, is that not everything made sense and a lot of things were kind of stuck in one gear. And yet here I was just sort of like lapping up all of the ridiculousness. I mean, including everything with Carrie and Tate in this episode.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to find a way to really enjoy this Carrie storyline or get something out of it. I just can't. And it hurts my heart because we've said this many times in our videos, like, we love this actress. She was over on This Is Us and she was fantastic. And the writing for her was top notch. This is just like, I can't with this character.
I will say my favorite part of this entire thing, another one of my favorite unintentionally hilarious moments of this episode, is when, the administrator for the school shows up, and Carrie wants to have a private conversation. Tate is clearly listening outside the door, and the moment he hears something, he just runs back in immediately and starts interrupting. Tate is such a sleazeball. I like Tate, even though every part of me should not like Tate, because he is terrible, he is greedy, he's basically kind of a lot more similar to Davis than probably either one of them would like to admit.
So we have to talk about all the stuff that's going on with Tate and Tariq. So Tariq ends up getting that photo album and he finds evidence that it's going to make Tate very happy to be able to take down Sweeney. But Brayden puts his foot down very firmly and is like, no, I'm not okay with this. You can't do this. It's going to hurt my family. It's going to hurt my father. And we had Tariq kind of being like, you don't even like your father, which is, might be true, but it's still his dad and it's still his family. And it's not for Tariq to decide. But so what happens? He immediately goes and betrays Brayden and tells Tate, I've got this evidence. It's going to help you out, whatever. Brayden finds out about the betrayal, and it's just such a complicated situation because you've got on one hand, we saw like at the end of the last episode, we saw Brayden, we saw Effie, we saw Tariq all singing together, kind of being like, okay, this is us. We are the crew. We're going to be working together. And I was like, oh, this is good. And we saw Brayden and Tariq have a very honest conversation where it's like, oh, they are really on the same page. So to see Tariq do that, at first I was kind of like, man, like, you have learned nothing. You guys are together and the loyalty, and Brayden's like, I'm here till the wheels fall off. However, if you really look at this situation, what's on the other side for Tariq, he's looking at double murder and losing his sister into foster care. I mean, when you're really kind of weighing these things, the loyalty of a friend and double murder and your family, it's kind of like, you really think about it, it's a no-brainer. It is your family and it is your freedom. It's, sorry, Brayden.
I don't blame Tariq at all for what Tariq is trying to do in this given moment, because I think he probably thinks, okay, yeah, I'm betraying Brayden. Brayden will be upset about it. And, for whatever reason you want to choose, maybe it is like he said that, he doesn't even really like his family. He just thinks, okay, Brayden will eventually get past this and we can clear up whatever sort of mess is here down the road. But I need this. I need this now. He will understand it. And I do wish on some level that we did have Effie in here to sort of chime in, because I love Effie. We talked about this last week, how much Effie is one of our favorite characters. And because we sort of had them be these three musketeers last week, it really did feel like there was kind of a hole in a lot of this, because I think she understands Tariq in a way that almost no other character on this show does. And he needs kind of a more consistent friend in his life like that.
Yeah, she's very honest with him, and she's willing to call out his BS or call him out when he's, sort of going about things the wrong way. And I think there needed to be more of that honesty from Tariq in that sort of conversation where he was having with Brayden, where Brayden was like, no, I'm putting my foot down. That's an absolute no. Yeah. Then Tariq had to be like, listen, like, I love you. You're, my best friend. And, I understand that and I'm loyal to you. But you need to see it from my side. I am up for 2 murders and I'm trying to get my sister back. I understand this is going to hurt you, but I'm not doing this to hurt you. I'm not doing this to hurt necessarily your family. I am doing this because I'm going to go to jail. Like, you need to understand the gravity of this.
One of the things that always kind of excites me about near the end of every Power season is that it always feels like the writers are juggling like 5 different chainsaws, and you expect that one of them is eventually going to just like fall down and it's going to create just a total mess. And yet they always kind of find a way to keep everything still juggling. And when I'm looking at the Tariq situation right now, because presumably the trial's got to be coming up in an episode or 2.
Yeah, he did not take that deal. Yeah. And Davis has figured out things about Lauren and Carrie. I mean, things are going to start coming out.
Yeah, and it's going to get really, really bad for him. And it's like, okay, at this point, how is it going to be possible for him to not only get off on these 2 murders, but also ensure that he has a chance to still have Yaz in his life, and also make sure he doesn't end up betraying a lot of other people in the process. Like, he's already basically seemingly lost Tamika now completely, and she's just
I loved seeing her back. She's one of my favorite overall Power Universe characters. I love her.
She's like one of the few people who really just understands just like how terrible Ghost was on so many levels, and she could just like fully call out Tariq on being just as terrible.
That's why I love her. I love that she will just call out a situation for what it is, and that she is still sort of this person that's like, I'm not Davis. I'm not here for your money. I'm here to actually help you as, a person that, this is the best thing that I think I can actually get for you. Davis won't get you a deal. He'll either just let you go to jail or not, sort of thing. I will at least try to give you everything that you can possibly get. So here is this. I don't know. I really love her character.
Speaking of people we love, or I guess I should say, speaking of people I love, how long is it going to take before Davis fires Saxe at this point? Because I feel like it's coming any given moment. I don't know why, Cooper, you thought this was going to work out well for you to go behind Davis's back. And I don't know why you also thought Tariq was going to be like, 5 your ears, sure. Thank you, Mr. Saxe. I'm on board.
Yeah, this is like twice now that we've had Davis basically have to tell Saxe to stop screwing with his money.
Yeah. He's screwing around. He's putting him in a position where there's like obvious friction. They need to be on the same page. And a big part of that now has to be making sure they just even get paid, because it seems like Tariq is not going to be able to sell product like he used to.
So lastly, we got to talk about that Mecca and Lorenzo meeting. I was a little disappointed with this. I kind of thought that the reason that Mecca took this meeting in the first place was to just have it out with Lorenzo. I think there was a part of me that thought he was just going to spill it all on everything, or that there was going to be some sort of confrontation. And I still think we're building towards something like that. But for him to kind of say, hey, I'm here for you. All my product, it's yours. Shake hands. I don't really know you, but, anything you want. I was kind of like, okay, where are we going with this?
I feel like it's a situation where at the start of that scene, I like took this deep breath in and I was holding it because I was expecting, yeah, that a fight or like something big.
Something.
And I'm like still holding my breath now, waiting to pass out because the relief point of it never actually came. And they just sort of met, hung out, and then left, and then that was sort of it. But
Yeah, it just wasn't. I think I just had high
yeah,
expectations.
we did.
I think that they are still going to pay this off.
Yeah,
I just didn't get the payoff immediately, so I'm over here being like, "Meh," but they'll give me the payoff.
well, we've got a few more episodes. Hopefully, there is a lot of payoff. So we hope
Mhm.
you guys are here to check out all of those Power Book 2 Ghost discussions. And also, if you're watching Yellow Jackets on Showtime, awesome show. Big finale this
Ooh.
weekend. We posted our reaction, lots of theories on all of that. Go and check that out
It
as
was
well.
really good.
Thank you guys for watching. We will see you here next time.